Wingardium Levioso.
Leviosa.
Leviosa.
Welcome to the third episode of Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where a bunch of buddies, a bunch of good old pals are coming together again in the middle of the week to talk about some nerd shit. My name is Luis Gonzalez, and with me is...
Miguel Sanchez.
And Ed Ball.
Yes, and every week, all three of us are coming together to serve you a delicious, nerdy meal of 3 courses. Did that make sense? I don't know, but we're going to talk about the biggest news this week. Okay, that's the first course. The second course is we're going to talk about what we've been into. And boy, for dessert, for our main event, we're going to have a discussion about the Oscars. Now, I know what you're saying. The Oscars hasn't come out yet. I get it. But we're going to talk about our predictions, our feelings about it before the Oscars comes out. Now, listen. I've said this many times before. We like to read, watch, play everything, but we can't. It's not possible. We're regular people, okay? We're trying to take care of our cats, our dogs, our kids, our cars that keep breaking down. Now, listen. If we do something wrong, let us know at Punch Drunk Nerd. All right. Now, let's jump into the news. All right, so, you know, we're talking about the Oscars today. And I think we want to start off the news with some big Oscar news, okay? And I think the story I wanted to start off with was West Side Story lead actress Rachel Zegler was not invited to the Oscars. Did you guys hear about this? Yes.
No.
Shocking. Disgusting.
I think it's very Sarah told me this. It was very odd. Like, I've never heard of that happening ever, of somebody in a movie who would never show up. Like, even the guy who was in that movie with Captain Phillips, you know, he's not like a big time actor, but he made it. He got an invitation. So it was very odd.
Well, I've definitely got some thoughts.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out that she has now received an invitation to present an award. So Rachel Zegler got invited, everybody. So she will be at...
What happened? Why wasn't she there?
So for my...
So here's my... sorry, go ahead.
You guys have...
No, actually, I want you
to...
Yeah. Ed, I want to hear your thoughts before I chime in.
Well, all I've got is an opinion on what I think was probably the case. For anybody who watched last year's Oscars, it was a very closed-off affair. Not everyone who was nominated was there. There was a lot of just handouts, either, via, FaceTime or whatever, Zoom, or there were select nominees who you could tell were the nominees who were probably going to win. Like, for instance, Daniel Kaluuya was there, and he ended up winning. I don't think everybody in that category was there. That was for a supporting actor for Judas and the Black Messiah. So my thoughts were that they're probably not going to be getting all of these people into one giant theater like is traditional of the Oscars. It's going to be a more isolated affair. Probably like the favorites are going to be there to win. As far as West Side Story goes, that's a big cast. And granted, I do think it's weird that the leading actress wasn't...
right?
She's the lead.
Yeah.
The lead of an
but she isn't
Oscar-nominated
nominated.
movie. No, she's not nominated.
Right.
If you're saying, like, the whole West Side Story cast can't be there, you're like, yeah, the fucking shoe shiner in the back alley can't make it. I totally get it. But the lead?
Sure.
Daniel Kaluuya was in that movie.
He was in that movie.
That example you just said.
Okay, no, for sure. But he was like geared to win. He was the favorite to win.
I see.
Rachel Zegler is not nominated. She, yes, while she is the lead, she would just be there to, look pretty.
Oh, cancel.
That's a reference to the movie, guys.
I didn't see it.
There's a song literally saying, I feel pretty.
Okay.
I feel pretty.
Very good. Oh my God. Well then, shame on me for not getting it. I'm so sorry, Ed.
Yeah,
points to you.
Pun.
Three punch nerd points to you.
If only it meant a damn. No, so I think I mean, and it will depend. Like, if we, like, come Sunday, it's like Oscars back to normal and they've got like a full crowd, all the nominees there, then yeah, that is a little fucking weird. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be an rather kind of like consolidated event. You're really going to see just like I said, the favorites who are going to win. You're not going to see a lot of tech departments. They're not even airing some of the like the tech awards during the broadcast. So I just don't think, because the lead actor of West Side Story, Ansel Elgort, is not going to be there. I can guarantee you that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case for a lot of movies that were nominated for Best Picture.
Why won't he be there?
He's going through a little cancellation.
Well,
yeah, I heard about this too.
you know about this
Yeah.
news? I haven't heard about this. I'm not off the internet.
I just heard that he's getting it. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. I don't follow celebrity news, so.
I don't know the full details, to be honest, but I just know that
Well, that's not
that's
a Punch Drunk Nerd.
been
What's
going
happening?
on.
Shut the fuck up.
I was watching. I was watching that.
So anyway-
yeah.
Hey, you know what?
No,
It's
go ahead.
fuck Ansel Elgort or whatever till the day I die. All right.
But
That
all that to
Humpty
say,
Dumpty motherfucker. He's gone.
all that to say is just like, she made a big hoo-ha out of it. She's getting to go anyway, and
I mean, she was asked.
that's it. But
She was asked
She
by
was
somebody.
asked.
Somebody was like, "What are you doing for the Oscars? What are you wearing?" And then she was just. Then she said something. She's like, "Well, unfortunately, I wasn't invited. I'll be home in my pants." So she didn't like go out like making some sort of
Oh.
like. She's
No,
like, "Hey,
no,
I
sure.
didn't- I didn't get invited." Like I think the fans spoke up and like spoke for her. You know what I mean? And she was.
yeah,
just saying,
no, I mean, and she has been at all these other award shows, and granted, the BAFTAs, she was there. And she wasn't nominated, so I don't know. But
I mean,
my first
Amy Schumer's
conclusion-
hosting the Oscars this year, right? It's like
so who wouldn't want to be there?
if you can't, who can't come to this thing? It doesn't make sense. But
well, you know,
See, that's again, I just don't think it was a matter of like, no, she can't come specifically. I feel like it's just going to be a big list of a bunch of people not being there.
so it's kind of.
I don't think like anybody or very few people of the Don't Look Up cast are going to be there because nobody was nominated.
I'll say this: I'm going to go on a very brief tangent. We're going to wrap it up. It reminds me of when
Yes, sir.
Aladdin came out a few years ago, the live action one with Will Smith. And afterwards, the guy that played Aladdin, he apparently said something like, "I'm not getting auditions still, and I'm not even trying to be like Batman, but I'm just trying to get auditions. I was a part of $1 billion movie." And I just like wonder if that's something kind of similar. Like, it doesn't matter that you're the lead of a relatively popular or well-received movie. You know, if you just don't, you don't have the clout, you don't have the clout kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is very
And
strange.
that is
Go for it.
I think Rachel Zegler is very talented. She was great in West Side Story. I'm not saying anything against that. It's just like, I purely think it's more of a technical thing from the Oscars standpoint.
So on this,
Well, you
I
know
got
what?
the.
Shout out Rachel Zegler.
So I got this news from Deadline, and here on Deadline it said, Deadline has learned the distribution of Oscar night tickets rest on the shoulders of the studio, which in this case is Disney. So
Oh,
Which is like a producer of West Side Story, so it's so fucking stupid. This has become a thing.
so yeah, it's just, you know, it's not the Oscars. I think the Oscars distribute tickets, and then or the studios ask like how many tickets. Like, we would like these many tickets, and Oscars distributes them because, you know, it's not like they don't have room in the Oscars. They have seat fillers.
she looks so tiny. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Stick her in between
but this is a
literally
good-
whoever.
And this is a good point too. Like I thought we would be be back at the Oscars, like same old like we've always been. But this could be a hybrid situation between what we had in the Oscars last year and, you know, what we might have this year, where it's just kind of like we're quasi back, but we're still going to implement some of those COVID safety precautions.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't take that into account. So maybe that's why tickets were limited. Disney wanted to be, I don't know, quote unquote responsible. But it is very strange, especially since she's coming back to play Snow White, you know, in Disney.
Sure.
So, you know, I don't know why they didn't want.
Well,
her to
last
bring
year
it
they
to
just
life.
had like a couple of people from a movie, like representing the movie, sitting in like a booth.
Yeah.
It wasn't like rows and rows
Exactly.
of seats. It was like in a very closed area. So, I mean, that was my assumption. Maybe that's where they'll go. If not, then people have a right to be outraged.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that the Oscars at least are like, hey, if Disney didn't offer you those tickets, then we'll give
Here you
you
go, babe.
we'll give you a
Bring you
spot
in.
as presenter.
Yeah.
I wonder
There
who
you
they
go.
had to kick out, or if they have not have all the presenters ready, or maybe they just teamed her up with somebody. Maybe it'd be like a duo thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of it
for
being
sure.
like, hey, Colin Farrell, get out of here. We're getting this girl in there. Now she's gonna be walking up with Colin Farrell. I don't know who she's gonna be walking up with, but that's
not
cool.
Ansel Elgort.
Maybe she'll be presenting West Side Story, the movie.
He
how
murdered
sometimes-
someone, right?
What?
Ansel
What?
Elgort? Yeah, Baby
Oh.
Driver. That was why he got canceled.
Like, did he really?
I'm asking
I don't-
you. You knew. You're the one. I'm just learning of the fact.
No, I mean that should be
Murdered
headlines, right?
72 people. It says. Wow.
I wish.
Happy
That'd be
Oscars,
hilarious.
you know what I mean?
I think
Just like, oh yeah.
I think it's just kind of what everyone gets canceled for.
You know what it's for. I don't have to say it. You know what it's for. Look at his
Piracy.
dumb white face. Yes.
Piracy.
All those DVDs he burned back in 2003.
That's right. Well, I'm glad that she's going to be, in the Oscars. It's good for her. I mean, I'm glad that she's in there. So a victory, somewhat of a victory, right?
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you what, someone who didn't have a victory was the Riddler in the Batman. Now, Paul Dano is writing a comic, okay? So, in the Batman, this was kind of a year two for a lot of people. And year two for the Batman, and potentially, I guess, a year two for the Riddler now. I guess this kind of confirms it because this comic called Riddler Year One, which would be written by Paul Dano, the actor who played the Riddler, he's going to dive deep a little bit about the beginnings and the origins of the Riddler. And it's in production now, or, comic production, and it should be available in comic stores in October.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. Ed, you were talking about how
well-
this was somebody, like, this isn't the first person who has started doing comics. There are other people doing comics, like, God, who
A lot of celebrities,
Yeah.
I feel like, coming up with this.
Patton Oswalt did it
Yeah,
for MODOK. He was the voice
Yeah.
of MODOK, and then he wrote a miniseries, like 6 comic page miniseries, and now Paul Dano's doing it for the Riddler. It just shows how, like, I don't know, how into comics they are, and I really like that.
Yeah, no, and it'll be very interesting to see Paul Dano's interpretation of that and like going deeper into that character because they delve on a lot of kind of the background he comes from in the Batman. So I'm sure like between him and Matt Reeves, they kind of had this whole story. So maybe that's what he's using. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm intrigued. Paul Dano's great.
Let me ask you guys this. Most like big villains that come into Batman movies, they're there for one movie and then they're not there for the next one. They always move on. Do you think this is a way for Paul Dano to like kind of keep that vibe going for just a little bit longer?
Dude.
Or do we think like Paul Dano is about to be like a staple villain in these Matt Reeves movies? Kind of
I
like,
hope-
I guess kind of like Scarecrow in the Nolan movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I thought he was great.
I think-
it's kind of like it would be a shame to like one-off him. You know what I mean? I mean,
Totally.
I get you don't want to like make him the main feature in every movie, but I mean, he was super dope. I read some like internet forums after the movie came out, and they were like, what if Paul Dano is like this version of the Joker? You know what I mean? Like, what if the
Yeah.
Joker is not his main arch nemesis in the Matt Reeves universe? And you're like, okay, there's
Right.
interesting stuff there.
Like the Riddler was his first main
Yeah.
baddie.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all tired of the
I-
Joker anyway. It's like, okay,
Oh, for sure.
Give us something
oh,
different.
God, yeah. Yeah. He, I think what was great about that and what it seems to be setting up is that these characters are going to stick around for a while.
I mean, he's setting
Yeah.
up this universe. It's like the world is going to be rich with characters
Yeah.
that can come and go.
Like they made a point to say that like this was like year one for Catwoman and the Penguin too. Like Penguin isn't even that full crime lord yet. You know, that he's only just rising to power. So and having gotten into all the Batman comics and animated movies, what's cool about those is that like you were saying, Miguel, villains just come and go. They just kind of intermingle in the story because they are residents of Gotham, essentially. Like they're villains, but they are here to stay, kind of thing. They came from Gotham, whether they're in Arkham or whatever, at whatever point in time, they're always there, So I think it would be. Yeah.
And clearly by the end of this movie, you know what I mean? There's like team ups to be had. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think
the fact that they. Sorry, go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, I think that he's able to orchestrate so much stuff at the beginning of this movie. It seems like he'll be able to continue to orchestrate stuff for the next movies. Be kind of a mastermind character who's able to, bring in all these other villains that we may want to see, but he's kind of like leading it. Because I would love to have
cool.
a villain, like a spine of a villain that's kind of throughout this trilogy. And if it was the Riddler throughout all three of these movies, I'd be happy if he was somehow like involved in trying to take down the Batman, because they have such a strong beginning and similarity up top about like vengeance and justice. It's kind of like, I don't know, the other side of the coin. And I'd be super interested to hear, to see him continuing in this thing. It's like just a villain that Batman can't shake. Like, sure, he could take down the Penguin. Sure, he could take down the audience favorite currently, Mr. Freeze. Everybody wants Mr. Freeze to be the next villain. Like, he could take these people down, but the Riddler is just still on him for causing maybe the greatest injustice of all. I mean, that's his like complete. That's his mantra, right?
Like the Riddler is like super egomaniacal. He's like, he thinks he's the smartest in the entire world, and he just barely missed that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and that could be something that like is a chip on his shoulder in future stories.
And a reveal later on.
Absolutely. What a strong reveal that would be. You know what I mean? When he figures that out, and how dangerous it's going to put everyone that Bruce Wayne knows in his vicinity. You know what I mean? That's going to cause havoc. And I'm sure Bruce Wayne will figure out that the Riddler knows a little bit too late, and then by then, like, someone close to him will die, maybe a love interest, maybe another Rachel situation, who knows. But yeah, I don't know. It's Ed, you were going to say something?
I forgot
too.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Bring it on board.
I'm on board too. I'm on board to sticking with Paul Dano as the Riddler, and let's have him ride this thing as long as we can. Paul Dano forever as the Riddler. And you know what? I was gonna say too, this is such a wild take of the Riddler that we've seen in the past. Like the Riddler has become more prominent as the years have gone by. I don't think he was as huge as a character before, even early in the comics. And once we started seeing him in the in the old Batman '70s shows. Like they took him up, and he had a little bit more appearances. And then Jim Carrey came, and he picked him up. And now the Riddler has more of a presence in comics and things like that. But I don't think we've ever had this Zodiac killer take of the Riddler before. Not that at least I know of. If I get it wrong, please tell us at Punch Drunk Nerd. But it's crazy because I feel like if anyone had a wilder or different take of Batman, we would be up in arms. Like that's not how we think of Batman, but with the Riddler, I don't know. Matt Reeves and Paul Dano have constructed a Riddler that is different than any Riddler we've ever seen, and everyone's on board. And it's going to be really interesting how they kind of change this direction, how I think it's going to impact the future of the Riddler just in general.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Paul Dano, 2024.
Yeah, 2024, our leader. So that's very exciting news. And what's it called? Where is my news sheet? Here it is. In more amazing news here, Christina Ricci is joining Tim Burton's Addams Family TV series spinoff called Wednesday. For those of you who don't know, this is a new approach to Addams. It's called Wednesday, and it's set. I'm reading the premise here. It's set to follow the family's wayward daughter during her high school years at Nevermore Academy, where she'll learn to master her psychic powers. Oh. as she tries to stop a slew of monstrous murderers, while simultaneously investigating a supernatural mystery that affected her family years previously.
So
I don't know if I like that premise,
Christina
to be
Ricci is not
honest.
playing Wednesday Addams, though, right?
No.
Okay.
No, she's replacing somebody else who dropped out.
Got it.
Currently, her role is a little bit hush-hush. No one's revealing what it is.
There's some time
I
travel
forget who
involved.
Sure. Yeah, there's some time travel. I don't really like this idea of there being her having psychic powers. That kind of is upsetting to me.
Yeah,
I just don't.
that's an odd one.
That's not why I fell in love with the Addams family. It's not. I mean, sure they have
No.
like they love the dark and the macabre and all these things, and like sure they it can lean towards witchy stuff, but and a little odd and strange. But I never imagined them being like
Applying that to something useful.
heavily, like leaning towards it heavily. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
it almost feels like they're Sabrina,
Yeah.
Netflix's
Yeah, dude.
Sabrina show.
Yes. Like how can we bring nostalgia and Sabrina back again?
Yeah, I don't know. I am like it's headed by Tim Burton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, when,
I always felt like Tim Burton is like ripe for Addams Family
yeah.
stuff, and even though he hasn't really done anything in the last like 12 years that I've liked,
Yeah.
this maybe could be a return to form, especially with how Netflix approaches its shows. So, I don't know.
I really hope so.
Cautiously optimistic. Yeah. Be interesting.
Yeah, I really do hope that this is his return to form. I haven't really, like you said, enjoyed his latest films. I think as everyone says, there are like he's playing a character of himself. At least that's how it feels with the directing. And I don't know, his movies lean a little bit too far into the visual effects realm that it just becomes
Lately, yeah.
it just becomes undesirable. And I think that's just like, well, he's been working with Disney a lot, and a lot of his Disney films have that feeling of just like, and I don't like a lot of
Yeah.
Disney live action movies either, because I feel
Yeah.
like they are so ripped out of the real world. They keep everything so sanitized and clean. Like, we're going to film it in a green
Yeah.
screen studio. We're going to evenly light everything. We're going to put everything in post, and everything just ends up feeling flat and strangely lit and overly saturated. Like, it just is like, what this, my eyes can't like take in the reality of these movies sometimes, you know? And so I just
Yeah.
hope when he comes to Netflix, it's a little bit more grounded. It's a little less, you know, studio based. And I think, I don't know, if it's a TV series, hopefully I'll have more time to like dive into deeper stuff, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I really want it to be very psychic, witchy heavy, but that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Ed, you had this Hans Zimmer Dune live performance you wanted to talk about.
It was really just to watch and just radiate in the power that is Hans Zimmer, especially since he's probably going to get an Oscar for Dune. Yeah, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking of it, I didn't even get around to watching the video, so I'm an idiot.
No, tell us more, Ed.
Well, hey, having seen Hans Zimmer in live concert, I can only imagine that it's just fucking incredible.
That's crazy, man. I want to see Hans
You
Zimmer
have
in
experience.
concert.
You saw I'm misremembering. No, you saw Hans Zimmer, right? One time, Ed?
Yeah, when he was doing his live tour, he came to Houston.
What year was this?
20 had to have been early 2018, I want to say.
Damn, I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, it was, but yeah, no, it was great. It was phenomenal. That was just like one of those rare treats that you get to live. So yeah, no. So to have Dune, and that was like that was right before Dunkirk came out, so maybe before 2018, because he played one of the tracks from that movie, as I recall.
At the show.
Yeah.
So at the show before the movie came
That's
out.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, and with Dune having like things like space bagpipes and stuff like that, that'd been pretty incredible.
Yeah, man, Hans Zimmer can do no wrong for me, I feel. I feel like there was a moment he was kind of sounding a little bit the same, but I feel like he really does try to experiment and to play with different tones and stuff. And when I saw him play live, I don't know if it was this clip you're showing me, but I did see him play live, and he was like rocking out on the guitar, for this. So,
yeah.
Dude,
it was definitely like a rock concert.
I've watched his master class, or I've been watching his master class, a little bit here and there, and it's really not much of a teaching class. It's more of him just kind of rambling about his experience with different things. But it's really interesting still just to hear him talk about him making music. He's such a badass and composer. I'd rather I hear him talk about making a PB&J sandwich and I'd be entertained. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm looking this up, and I know we're going to talk a lot about the Oscars later, but I was saying he's probably going to be the winner of Best Original Score this year. And I'm just looking back. This is going to be his first win since The Lion King back in 1995.
Wait, The Last of the Mohicans?
What?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. You cut off. Sorry.
No, I said the last time he won an Oscar was for The Lion King.
Oh shit!
So back in 1995, and since then, he's had Gladiator, Sherlock Holmes, Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Not to mention, the Dark Knight and everything in between. It's crazy. I'm just listing off the ones he was nominated for.
I mean, the man's got bangers.
So, oh man, yeah. Whether Dune is his best or not, I don't know, but give him an Oscar again already. It's too long.
I agree. That is too long. Please, I hope he gets an Oscar. And to wrap up the news, we're going to do our weekly segment, our update recap, where we tell you all the things that are coming out or have come out. For example, what's already come out, this TV show called We Crashed on Apple TV Plus, following the story of the company WeWork. I used to work at a WeWork. You know what that is, guys? What WeWork is?
Is that like a charity or something?
No, WeWork is if you don't have an office space or anything, you could rent out a office space at a building called WeWork, and there'd be a bunch of companies that would work there, and you could rent a small office that would fit 2 people, or you can rent an office that has 15, 20 people, and it's just kind of a simpler solution for you not to have to pay
For
land tax or whatever for the whole building, right? It's if you only have enough, and they have amenities, and they have little events and stuff like that. And my company that I was working with loved this thing. They just took complete advantage of it. Anyway, the whole that show's coming out now. So if you're into that kind of stuff, the show
that's the one with Anne Hathaway and Jared Leto.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. This new show, I put it in here, and I didn't do any research because I had a busy week. Life and Beth. It's on Hulu, and it's available.
Well, before we look into it, what do we think it's about?
Okay.
Luis, what do you think it's about?
Life and Beth. It's about a person who died, came back to life, and fell in love with a woman named Beth.
Yes, that's it.
I like it. Done. You're welcome, Hulu.
No, so after a sudden... Okay, so it has Amy Schumer and Michael Cera in it as the 2 leads. After a sudden incident, Beth, a seemingly successful woman with a long-term relationship and steady career, takes a look back at her past to see who she wants to become. Aw. So, I think it's Amy Schumer's executive producer for that, so I'm sure it's her little jam. It's true. Hogwarts Legacy, coming to consoles and PC. Miguel... You got any news on that?
Only that it's coming to consoles and PCs, you fucks.
All
right.
Beautiful.
It's
you motherfuckers. Can you hear that? Get a PC, get a console.
You'll be ready to fucking go. No, they've been talking about this game, I want to say, for 5 years plus now. I mean, it feels like every E3 or whatever they're saying, oh, are we going to get more about this Harry Potter game? When are we going to get this Harry Potter game? And so the fact that they're actually releasing something, it just feels like, okay, for all this time, it's nice to finally have like a product to see. I was reading into it. They've got all your favorite spells from every Harry Potter book. Okay. You know what I mean? Accio. All right.
Levacio,
Wingardium Levioso.
Leviosa.
Leviosa. I saw the movie.
That's right.
Expecto Patronum.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's like the deer or whatever, right?
Yeah. My Patronus is a weasel. I did the test.
Oh, really? Mine's a hare.
Ooh, a hare.
Wow, a weasel and a hare. I haven't done it. Who do you think? What do you think mine is? No, you go ahead.
No,
disrespect the shit.
Bear.
A bear is good.
Ooh, a bear.
A bear is good. That's some Mormon shit.
I like that.
I like that. Okay, I'll take it.
I'm a Ravenclaw. I'm a mix of a Raven Puff.
Everyone always tells me I'm a fucking Hufflepuff, and I don't know what the fuck that means, and it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad.
No, wear it with pride. Wear it with pride.
Hufflepuff.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
Sounds like you're describing the shape of my body, and I don't like it. Okay.
I'm a self-sorted Hufflepuff. Pottermore tried to put me in Ravenclaw. I was like, you guys don't even know me. I'm an idiot. Put me in Hufflepuff.
You don't have to.
Not that idiots go in Hufflepuff. No, that's just like where people who enjoy food, and he was a Hufflepuff.
He was a Hufflepuff.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah,
and he basically won the Goblet of Fire Cup. Well, technically, him and Harry Potter did.
Did he win?
Well, no. I mean,
I saw that.
Very
movie.
sad. That was a very.
They won
sad
it together, Harry.
Oh, that was such a sad turning point. And the dad wailing. Spoilers.
No,
alert.
so all
my boy.
You know what? I'm enough of a Harry Potter fan that I would play this game. Hopefully, it'll come out. I don't think they've done a release date yet, but
yeah,
we'll get it.
The trailer looked good.
Did you watch all 15 minutes?
No, I didn't watch that trailer.
Okay.
Certainly not. Who has that time? But no, I mean, it looked fun. It was interesting that they've set it in the late 1800s too.
That's good. You know what I mean? Set us outside of the Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
You like that, Miguel? I know you were against prequels.
Nah, I'm just winging it. I told you guys it's Miguel Live Reacts today.
Ooh, I love it.
All right, I'm going on a vibe. Sounds great. I don't want to hear about Harry Potter. Mainly just because the sequel didn't sound great either. The Cursed Child or whatever. It's like,
all right, yeah, I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear about the future.
No, it's cool. I'm excited. Cool. I want a clean slate too.
I just want to flick a wand.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I want to shoot somebody with lasers.
Hey, we all want to flick a wand, buddy.
And on to that note, we're going to talk about this movie called Men. Okay? Now, Men is a movie directed by Alex Garland. All right, and he used to work with Danny Boyle in writing his screenplays. You might know some of his films. 28 Days Later, folks. Sunshine, folks. Okay.
I love those movies.
He also.
What's that?
He also directed Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, Ed.
And Ex Machina.
That's right.
And more recently, Annihilation.
And Dread, the movie Dread. I like that movie too. But yes,
did he direct that one?
No, he wrote the screenplay.
He wrote that one.
But yeah, okay. Ex Machina was his debut directing when he I'm gonna do my own thing, and then he did Annihilation.
And that was a great movie,
dude. I love Ex Machina, and sadly to say, I have not seen Annihilation. I'm so sorry to all the folks that are crying at home.
I don't know,
and yelling at me.
Luis, I'll tell you, I started it. You know what I mean?
It's a tough one.
Really, I want to see it. I want to. But
it says it's great.
Very perplexing. It's very perplexing.
Then this trailer that we saw, Men coming out, looks equally perplexing to me, and it looks like it has some of that obviously like a horror. You know, like his past two stuff seem very horror centered, and I have no idea what's happening in this trailer. Men, brought to you by A24.
So it looks like that one guy, he's playing a bunch of different characters.
Yeah.
Rory Kinnear.
I recognize him from a couple different things. First off, he was in the Daniel Craig James Bond movies, right? He was like M's right-hand man or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His I don't know.
Like a male secretary. You can say it.
Secretary.
Well, no, I was like trying to think of like a proper term for it, but I don't actually know. He was N to M's M.
There you go. That was not the only thing I've seen him in, though. And the second thing I've seen him in is a little more... leaves, I think, like a blemish on him just a little bit. It's pretty tough. Have you
to no fault of his?
Well, he chose the role. You guys have seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
he's in the first season. In the episode, I'm not going to give too much away. In the episode where he he's like the prime minister of England or whatever, and the princess of whatever the fuck gets kidnapped, and so he has to run some errands to make sure she gets back. You guys check it out. It's on Netflix. Black Mirror season 1. I think it's the last episode of that season.
No, it's the very first episode.
It's the very first episode. Yeah.
No, fuck us.
Like if you needed to like dip your toes into the world of Black Mirror, which is what I did.
Yeah.
It is so distressing.
I thought I accidentally watched that one first, and now to find out that was the first episode, it's like, who approved that?
Yeah.
Right. It's basically just saying like, hey, you can either handle it or you can't.
I mean, how do you even
as far as just like
watch that show? Oh, I just watched a really great pilot the other day.
No, my older sister Ashley took such joy in saying like, "Oh, you really need to watch this episode of Black Mirror.
That specific
if you don't like
episode?
this, yeah." And she, I mean, just to see me tormented, I guess. But shout out to Ashley; she's always watching out for me. But with that said, and to your point, Miguel, you bringing that up, I was going to say like, having had that role in the past, it kind of makes this movie even more unsettling and intriguing because
what won't he do?
Which we can't even get. Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly though, but like it's such a creepy vibe. Like he plays multiple characters in this. And
I tell you, I'm a sucker for two things. I'm a sucker, like in Batman, Colin Farrell, when they give an actor gives a performance where you just don't recognize them at all, whether it be prosthetics or just a really good performance. And I'm also super into when one actor plays multiple roles, like Professor X. Why am I blanking on his name? From the Shyamalan movies.
James
McAvoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, James McAvoy.
It's like, okay, let me see what you can do. Go ahead, bust them all out real quick.
Eddie Murphy.
Norbit. You know? Yeah. The other ones, the cranks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the trailer starts off with just him, and then a couple seconds go by, and then you see him in priest garb, and you're like, oh.
Did I misunderstand something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait, now he has long hair. Is this in the past? Are they revisiting?
And then he's playing everybody in the village. Apparently.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, "Oh, shit's going down now." Like when you see everyone, she's in the bar. Yeah. Men. I'm 10. Men. I hope that song plays in the movie.
The synopsis on IMDb is simply: a young woman goes on a solo vacation to the English countryside after the death of her ex-husband, and that's it.
I love that. I love premises that don't tell you shit.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited for this.
Y'all, before we move on, I'm so sorry. Yeah. My phone is on 2%. I have a quick solution. If we can just take a really small break while I go get my charger and flip out my Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is it plugging it in?
Yeah, I gotta plug it in and get my headphones. It's 2 steps. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you give me just like a really quick second, I'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be right here. We'll be fine.
Okay. Well, let's.
What do you want to talk about, Ed?
What have you been watching, Luis?
Oh no, we gotta wait for the segment.
We gotta wait for Miguel. Oh shit!
What are we watching? We have to wait for Miguel before we move on. Now, I don't know if the folks at home can see this, but I have my my Thanos mug. I'm drinking a Thanos mug for the podcast listeners, and it's got all 6 stones in it.
I was hoping you were going to bring that up, and I almost wanted to bring it up earlier, but I figured we'd talk about it on the pod.
If you went to last week's episode, it was a very subtle Easter egg, but I was holding a Mjolnir coffee mug, and it was a gray coffee mug.
I didn't catch that.
See, I didn't catch that. I like subtle, like memorabilia or like subtle like things, you know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Mjolnir. you saw that they're coming out with a Lego
Yes.
Mjolnir. That looks very cool. It's about 18 inches long, so roughly about the same size as your Batmobile.
Yeah. So I mean, it's as big as this.
Oh, you got it handy? Good.
Yeah. I have it right next to me.
Oh my god. So that's going to be massive.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get it? Because like
I'm tempted. I love Thor, and it comes with a minifig.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I mean, I think it was priced at $100, which isn't terrible.
You could really wield it too. I'm holding this Batmobile Lego that's at 18 inches in my hand, and I could grab this and I could potentially wield it as my hammer. You know.
I will say, like, growing up and trying to build Lego weapons, man, they're flimsy as hell. So I hope they have a good construction.
You know,
going
my question to you, Ed, I wanted to ask you this question about Legos was,
yes,
you know, when you build Legos, sometimes they'll hide neat little treats inside of them, and then you you'll put like really fun colors, or you put really fun Legos in a chest, or you put like a fun configuration of colors, and then you close it up, and you're like, oh, that sucks. I really liked kind of like the little cute little thing they had in there, and then they cover it up. But
it's like a little secret.
A little secret, yeah. When you build Legos, with that Mjolnir, there has to be a lot of like little secrets when you're building, because it's just a square, right? Like it's just a big. It's like it's not too complicated of a Lego. It's just a block. Like I don't know how it's.
No, I imagine it will be hollow. I imagine it will be hollow, and that's interesting.
Like I wonder if there's going to be like blue Lego pieces inside for like lightning or some sort of like.
Ooh.
You know.
A light up one.
Or I mean,
that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. But I just don't know how complicated that kind of build is going to be to build Mjolnir.
Yeah, that's the thing, is if it's going to be just like a centerpiece thing that has to just sit.
Yeah.
Or if you can like actually pick it up off of the stand. I will say this, talking about your mug, along with the minifigure, it comes with some of what they have in those I don't know what they call it, the vault on Asgard, where they refer to it in the movie where they have the gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet,
the fake one
that they say is a fake. Yeah,
it is fake.
So that comes with the minifigure, as well as the Tesseract and the Eternal Flame.
Wait, all of that comes with the Thor one? In the Thor?
Yeah, but it comes with the hammer, but those are minifigure size.
I'm gonna have to get a third bedroom so I can start putting all this stuff in.
Welcome to my life.
We're talking about Legos, Miguel. Miguel, welcome back.
Hey, it's me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Returning with what kind of AirPods do you have?
These are the AirPods, the Pros.
Oh, the Pros, ladies and gentlemen, noise canceling Pros.
Stuck around and find out.
Well, now that we got Miguel Sanchez back, Miggy, we are going to talk about what we're into, which is perfect because we're going to start off with Miguel. And oh no, I see your notes on here, and okay, go for it.
Don't set me up. I don't want to set me up to fail. All right, I'm talking about a few things here today that I'm just a little into, some rumors. Let's talk about it.
I love it.
Let's talk about it. This is what we've been into. First off, I love that what we're into is it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's currently airing. You know what I mean? I watched Impeachment last week, but that had already been aired. This week I'm doing something similar. My wife, Kristen, has been really pushing this for a while, and I'm finally okay, I'll do it. The Amazon Prime original series, Marvelous Miss Maisel. We're currently watching that right now. I'm in season 1, maybe a little over halfway through season 1.
Okay.
And listen, just between us boys, okay, and mainly because I know my wife is not listening, okay. Nah, man, I'm not into this show. I am just not, and I keep doing it because I love her, And I want to.
Why aren't you into? Because I've seen, I think, 2 seasons. I don't think I've seen the new season. But my question is, what is it that you don't like about Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Like I said, I'm only in the first season. Okay, so as far as it getting better, and I know it's all this, it's got all these awards and everything like that. So I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Ed knows I am just not a super like period piece kind of guy. And it's a stupid, shitty excuse, but it's just like, to me, I feel like it's kind of a chore to get through. I'm like, ugh, here we go. But the other thing that, like, on the other side of the coin is, like, everyone really is so good. Like, every actor understands that period. They understand their character.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub is really good. Yo, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering her name. It's like Rebecca something. The actress who plays Miss Maisel, she really is phenomenal. And so I'm not over here talking shit. I'm just like,
Fantastic.
I'm just like not as into it as other shows. And I feel kind of like a chore right now getting through it. But she keeps telling me, you have to finish this first season. So that's what I'm really trying to do. And I'm someone that believes, like, even if you don't like a show, you really should give it a shot. There might be something that kind of like clicks late in the game. So
did you like Gilmore Girls?
No. Is there a relation? Is there a relation to Gilmore Girls in this show?
Yeah, it's the writer. The writer of Gilmore Girls wrote this show.
Fucking loves Gilmore Girls. I mean, when they released that Netflix one where they do like the seasons of their lives or whatever, Kristen watches that, no joke, at every year, like on the dot. Fall comes around and she's like, cue up Gilmore Girls, okay?
Yeah.
We're ready to go. Wow.
Yeah, that's why it sounds like it has that Gilmore Girls witty, quick pace, like, I don't know, not Shakespearean, but yeah, just like that witty, quick pace dialogue.
My only complaint, like legitimate complaint, is that everyone understands the time period. Everyone really understands the vibe. It's almost like a play at times. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like these long scenes with dialogue, and like 95 to whatever % of the dialogue always lands. But it seems like every episode, and I'm nitpicking yet I don't have an example. It seems like every episode there's a moment where they're having this like witty retort or back and forth, and then it's like one actor says a line, and then the other actor doesn't quite like pick it right back up. And so then there's like this weird flow to it. And I don't know. I really think it's just not for me. And I'm over here trying really hard. So I'm not going to talk shit about it. Obviously, Marvel and Space, every actor has got like an Emmy on that show from it. You know what I mean? So, and
it's got the voice of Lois from Family Guy.
Yeah. She's pretty good. She's pretty good. Her character is a little off-putting, but that's the point. So I'm like, okay, I get it. Here's what I'm going to do. And I told Kristen this, I'm going to finish this first season. And she told me after the first season, there's like one, I don't remember what season. After the first season, there's one episode that she really wants me to watch that she thinks will really like solidify it. So I told her, okay, I will give you one whole season plus an episode, and we'll see where I land. So hopefully, fingers crossed, good luck, Miss Maisel. Like, I'm really rooting for you. I'm hoping.
Yeah. It's, that'll be interesting. I mean, I think, my opinion is, if you haven't liked it so far, you may not like it, but I don't remember this episode that she's talking about, so we'll see. But after watching Marvelous Miss Maisel, I started listening to comedians again. Like, I was I loved the musicality of the comedy, that I was like, bro, I want to hear comedians like do their bits again and how they tell the jokes.
I'm someone that comes from a bit of a comedy background. I'm not going to go too far into it, but so that aspect does intrigue me. Like, I was telling Kristen, like the main actress, she really understands like the world of comedy. So she plays these bits or these moments, and not just like the comedic bits on stage. Like, she just like really understands how to use certain words to like affect me or affect the audience. So I do like it for that aspect. And maybe I'm just over here talking shit. Like I said, I really hope I come around. It's on me.
Well, we're going to get an update on that very soon.
Yes.
But I do want to hear more about what you're into.
Yeah, okay, so I've got two more quick things I want to talk about. One I talked about, I think, on our first episode. So the video game that I've been playing recently was Horizon Forbidden West. I think the last time I talked about it, I was almost at the end of the game, and I can't believe how close to the end I was before we talked about it. I was basically there. I just wanted to kind of like quickly wrap up some thoughts about it.
I love it. Wrap it.
Yeah. So first off, Luis, again, just want to reiterate, I definitely think you would enjoy this game. I know you're kind of like my video game cohort recently. You seem to be playing, you know what I mean, games that even if I don't play them, I'm interested in hearing about. So I like that. You know what I mean? I definitely would push this one on you. So I thought the story, even though the first game had a little bit of a convoluted story, and like even after I just replayed it recently, I was still trying to have a hard time like explain what the gist of the story was. This one does a better job about kind of like honing it in while also showing you like those like zooming out and showing you the edges of the story. It focuses you at the right spot the entire time, and it delves into like a way more like sci-fi. Like they go to space at one point. They don't go to space, but like
Oh
space
wow.
space
Right.
is involved, and that's something that like if you know a little bit about the game, it's just like it's a post-apocalyptic world where it's basically like you know what I mean. It's like tribes of people, and then these like robot dinosaurs, and you're like, how does space get involved? And I thought what I expected to be kind of like a shoehorned plot point. They
Hmm.
really did kind of make it believable. Just for to touch on it very briefly, like the people who are responsible 1,000 years in the past for like making this world the way it is currently, uh, they make a reappearance, and you're like, how do you learn some shit about how they were able to kind of like keep their existence going for 1,000 years, and there's a lot of interesting stuff there. My
Yeah.
oh, I mean, if you have a comment, go ahead.
No, no, no. Please, please, please keep going.
My only complaint, and this is like from a, I like to play games multiple times. My only complaint is that there's not a new game plus. Do you know what that is?
No.
New game plus is a setting that a lot of story games do where right as you
Oh.
finish the game, you know
Yes.
what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes. Yes.
They'll let you
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
replay that same story, but with all of your XP, all of your weapons, all of your
Totally.
upgrades. And so, if there's anything
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you like kind of left off on the skill tree or whatever, you have a chance to go back and replay that whole story, kind of leveled up, and then also fully round out your character. They did that in the first Horizon game, and it was a ton of fun. Right at the end of the first Horizon game, I got this like suit that makes you basically invincible, and then I replayed that entire game with that fucker on, and I was like, hell yeah, I can kill all these dinosaurs. You don't get that in this game, and that was one of the biggest letdowns when I got to the end of it. Was just that I finally like scooped up all this cool stuff to use, and now I'm not able
Yeah.
to really use it because the game's over. You know,
That's a really odd choice. Why didn't they? Was there a reason you think that they didn't have
if I
New
had to
Game Plus
guess,
or?
it was probably just because for some reason it's just a feature that they're going to add later. I can't remember if it was there at the end of the first game immediately or if it was an update. So I could see
Hmm.
them being like, we just need to push this game out, and then in like subsequent updates, we'll get something good. So fingers
Are you able to
crossed.
go to your? Yeah. Are you able to go to your like a previously saved moment and then like before you beat the the final boss or
So
whatever you can like okay
I mean,
before I beat the final boss I can collect everything or is
uh,
that not even a thing?
I could do that, I guess, if I wanted to, if I had manually saved it. At the end of the game, they do throw you back into the map, and they're like, okay, you can go ahead and finish out the game now, like with all the side quests and
Oh,
stuff. So I
but you
now have
can't
this like
start fresh.
small, yeah, I just can't start fresh with all this stuff that I've already learned. And it was such a long game, and it's like, okay, if I ever want to come back to replay this, I would like to have like my already leveled up character so I could kind of move through it.
Right.
That being said, the couple of just points that I thought were two thumbs up. The graphics are amazing. It runs beautifully on the PS5. If you don't have a PS5, oops, you know, get on it.
Yeah, yeah. That's literally
I
the
don't want
game
to
I'm
tell you.
gonna get when I get a PS5.
I'm telling you, Luis, that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
hear. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I think once I get a PS5, that I'm gonna play that, and I'm gonna replay Spider-Man on the PS5. But
do it, and then I want to hear about Last of Us Part Two, but we'll talk about that some other time.
oh shit, you're right. I gotta play that too.
I
I got a
know. I
long
know.
library of games I gotta play. Yeah, I mean that's. Do you think that this game conclude in a place that you think is like okay, good? That was a nice conclusion. We did
So
it, or is it like
it's one of those where
more to come?
they have clearly set up, and it was something they kind of tell you very early on into the game that there is going to be a second one. Just to,
Okay.
I don't want to overtalk it, but the basically one of the main points of the story is you have to go around collecting all these like subsystems of this overall OS, and you have to like plug them
Hmm.
into her by the end of it, and she tells you kind of straight away you're going to be able to get all of them but three of them, and it's like okay, so basically from a quarter of the way in you go there's going to be a sequel already, but then of course like by the
Oh.
end of the game it is very clear like there is something coming to Earth that the space people were running from, and it's like okay, now we're going to have to deal with that one more time. So
Right.
there's stuff there, and I tell you what, even if they don't change much of the mechanics and they just kind of have updated the game to this version and that's what they want to do for the third one, I'm here for it because I had a great time.
Awesome.
Okay,
Well, cool, man. That's very exciting.
I just want to talk about one final thing, and it's random as fuck, but I just had something come across my Instagram today, and I was like, okay, I'll look into it. And I don't think it's actually true, but then I got kind of like in a rabbit hole.
Okay.
So, you guys know Mahershala Ali. I'm talking about some Marvel news, okay?
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Okay,
Let
so
me
you
drink
guys
out
know,
of my Thanos mug.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, Mahershala Ali, he's coming into the MCU. He's going to play Blade, the vampire Blade,
Yeah.
who I always really liked. And I say always in the sense of like I watched the Wesley Snipes movies. It's not like I've read the comics. But
Yeah.
I loved those Blade movies. Even the third one that people don't like very much at all. I was having a great time. I was 13. I was like, kill those vampires.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I read this rumor today and it was in Spanish. I'm like, how did I get something in Spanish across my Instagram? I had to like change the translation. But apparently some rumor said that Blade was going to be set in the 20s or the 30s. And I was like,
interesting.
okay, I don't know how to take that. I guess that could be kind of fun. And then maybe if they do something like Captain America or Wonder Woman, where the first movie's like set in the past and he's immortal, so he blah blah blah, like comes back into present day MCU. I don't even have a source on that. Like I said, it was in Spanish. So, but
Well, he has vampire genetics, so he can. It takes him longer to like die than
yeah,
most humans, so he could theoretically just survive for a long time and become very like, I don't know.
so
What
like
am I
I
trying to
said,
say?
it was a
Yeah.
rumor that kind of put me on a rabbit hole, and then I found this Wikipedia page for it. So I just want to kind of talk about just a couple things that I read here. First off, did you
I
guys
love it.
see Eternals?
Yes, I did.
No.
That's okay.
Not
I
yet.
haven't finished it, and I'm about to tell you something from the end, Ed. So don't stress about it.
I wish you.
It's fine.
Wait.
Ed. This is a fine. It's okay.
It's
Spoilers
like
ahead.
one of those.
If
It's
you
like, yeah. If you haven't,
spoilers
if
ahead.
you-
If you don't want to hear about Eternals at the end, it's going to be a minute. But honestly, it's not a big deal. It's probably on the internet already. And here we
Just
go.
wave frantically when you're
okay,
done.
okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
So Ed's real worried about an end credit scene, but apparently, like one of the end credit scenes of Eternals is where they hinted at Kit Harington becoming the Black Knight or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
And there was apparently, and this is I'm going off of memory here, Lucas, correct me if I'm wrong. Apparently, there was like a voiceover at some point, either in that scene or in the other scene. And I believe the director, I'm blanking on her name, Chloe Zhao, said that the voiceover was Blade. That was like our first experience with Blade. And one of the things I clicked on in this Wikipedia page is that Kit Harington is going to reprise his role as Dane Whitman in the Blade movie, potentially. So that kind of nixes the 20s, 30s thing. But I'm interested to see how that character in Blade, how they are going to team up. And we're just going to have to see. Ed, you can come back now. Ed.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Go away. Go away.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I had one question because I wonder if part of it's going to be in like the earlier story is going to be in the 20s and 30s, and then we might flash forward to the present
in the same movie.
In the same movie because he has some knowledge about Excalibur in at the end he's like, you're not going to do that or whatever his line is, or be careful or whatever he says. I forget. I'm sorry. So he has some history with it, and I wonder if he knows the previous owner of the Excalibur. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, interesting.
And so if there's going to be an opportunity where it's like he knows like maybe his father or something, and then he sees his son, who knows? But that'd be really cool.
In this rundown on Wikipedia, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different characters with the last name of Bloodstone. So that might be like some sort of family from the past. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm over here speculating. So thank you for listening to Punch Drunk Nerd.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, a couple. Ed, you can come back now, Ed. A couple of cast members. This may be rumored or may be official. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. At Punch Drunk Nerd. They're saying Dolph Lundgren is going to be in it. Gabriel Luna, Ali Larder, Emma Stone, Halle Berry potentially. Ewan McGregor coming in. Kit Harington possibly coming back. They're saying Gary. This has to be bullshit. This is why I'm not sure. It says Gary Oldman's coming in to play Dracula.
Holy shit!
I mean, if
That would be
that's
incredible.
That'd be cool.
he's already played Dracula, right? So that could be interesting to see what's going on there. And then Delroy Lindo coming in as well. So if that truly is the cast, I mean, I'm interested, and I'm already interested because Mahershala Ali he can do no wrong in my book. So,
Dude, that is.
and I'm sorry, the one last thing it says here, the story. This is part of the story. The film. This is, I think, another reason why I was kind of a rabbit hole into this today. Is the film will be connected with the Moon Knight series.
Ooh, okay.
So,
Dude.
we'll.
Do you think we're going to meet him in Moon
That would
Knight?
be a really great opportunity to introduce the character.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right.
Man, that's so exciting. Marvel's got a lot of exciting stuff. I mean, they have this Halloween special called Werewolf by Night that's coming out, and that can involve Moon Knight. And if Blade's going to be with Moon Knight, then it's going to involve this whole.
So you think
this whole horror thing? Because I mean, you're including like vampires, you're including witches. They're opening up a whole dimension towards that situation.
I was just about to say, are we about to get like a Dark Avengers or whatever? You know what I mean?
Right. The
group of
I think
supernaturals.
the Midnight Suns.
Yeah, thank you. Couldn't think of their names.
The Midnight Suns to deal with the supernaturals and stuff like that. I think so, and I can talk more about it when we go to my rewatch, but I think we might be going down that route for sure.
All right.
Ed, you've returned, and hopefully a new man.
Yes. Just a concerned parent. Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yeah. What are you?
Ed, welcome back to the podcast. Take it away.
Yeah, I just didn't want to listen to Miguel, to be honest.
I did kind of blather on for a little bit. So.
No, I'm just kidding. No, my parental duties required my attention. So really, I haven't watched a lot. I started watching Impeachment. We're a couple of episodes in there. We're enjoying it. I pushed Sarah to watch West Side Story this weekend, finally, which I've seen already. I just wanted her to see it. She didn't care for it. It's okay. And obviously, I told you guys I went to see The Batman for the second time. Didn't have to go pee. I'm very proud of myself. And it was great. Holds up the second time. Really is a great movie. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, on another podcast. But one thing that I have been binging literally in the last week is a little show on Netflix called F1 Drive to Survive. Now, for a little bit of insight, F1 refers to Formula One racing, and which is like an international, very, elite form of racing. There are only 20 races in every race there are 20 slots in Formula One racing. And that's like worldwide. It's like the biggest car companies who partake, and it's basically a rich man's sport. But I grew up with it, watching it in England. It was like a regular, like every other Sunday on TV kind of thing. I would watch it with my dad.
Because for a half second there, you were like, it's for rich people only. And it's something I used to watch. You're like, oh, okay, Ed. No. About it, baby.
No, don't worry. I am and always have been rather poor. But, no.
Please subscribe to our Patreon so Ed can no longer be poor, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but there's a lot of money that goes into the sport, and it would just be a pastime every other Sunday. Me and my dad would watch it. It's like very thrilling to watch. It's not like NASCAR where they're just going in loops, but it's more intricate circuits. They're going at a higher speed, different driving altogether, basically. And anyway, so Drive to Survive kind of takes you behind the scenes of the last 4 seasons, starting in 2018. That's season 1, which I'm on season 2 now. And it's like 10 episodes, 40-minute episodes, and they are so intense and so enthralling. There's so much drama, and obviously, like I said, there's a lot of money coming between each teams. To give you some insight, the top team in the world right now that has won, I think, 4 or 5 consecutive championships is Mercedes. One of the other consistent winners is Ferrari. Go figure. But they delve into all the other teams too, like Red Bull and McLaren. Anyway, it goes. Each episode jumps from team to team, race to race kind of thing, and just like the mentality and all the engineering that goes into these cars, but the amount of competitiveness, even amongst teams. There's two races between each team. And even the teammates are highly competitive. You got guys crashing into one another, like teammates crashing into each other. There's just like a lot of drama. It's very exciting. And if you felt so compelled to just give it a try, like if the episodes move very quickly, it's very just like to the point. And yeah, it's just like getting into the mentality of these drivers and the world that they live in, and the team and the owners that back it up, kind of thing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been binging it like crazy, and I can't wait to get all the way through it, all the way caught up.
Ed, shout out. I mean, I hear on the internet rumblings that Netflix is out the door. You're basically keeping them alive right now watching this show.
Is that a fact?
I mean, yes. You heard it here first. Netflix out the door.
Because I'm pretty sure they've scored the most like Oscar nominations this year too.
Out the door means they're still
out
here,
of all the
but they're on
streaming
their way out. So.
Oh well, it sounds like they're on their way in.
We'll see.
But yeah, anyway, so really that's all I've got to highlight this week to anybody who, dabbles in like sport documentaries or whatever. A lot of drama. It really kind of pulls you into the stakes. I've been enjoying it. Would recommend.
I feel like I'm listening to the podcast right now because I feel like I got so much new information about a show I've never even heard of. And that's exciting. Yeah. I always love hearing new shows that like had no idea existed. It sounds exciting. It sounds cool,
I figured it would be a little out of the norm. I don't always watch like sports shows or sports documentaries. Yeah. It really comes down to soccer, football, like the World Cup specifically, or the Euro Cup, and then like Formula One. As soon as this was recommended to me, and as soon as somebody they told me about it, I was just like, yeah, I'll give it a try. I love Formula One, and it's great.
Where would we have to go to see this live?
So I mean, there are 21 races per season, and they travel all around the world. And actually, the Formula One Grand Prix in the US happens in Texas.
When is that?
Oh wow! Look at that.
I don't know. I haven't looked at this year's
schedules. Get back to me on that, okay, bud? We just want to find out. We're gonna.
Yeah.
Our very first in-person episode in Texas, all 3 of us.
Oh, that'd be very cool.
Go to a Formula One race. I would love to go to
our Patreon.
Yeah,
I've never been to one.
No, it would be incredible. It's funny. The episode I just watched, they were in Texas, and guess who, of course, was there to watch it?
Greg Abbott.
George W. Bush.
All right, not terrible people. Think of nice people.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Those are the 3 people from Texas,
Yeah. Exactly. Them and Ted Cruz, but
Ugh.
he
What about Owen
he
Wilson,
likes
guys?
NASCAR.
Come on. Wow.
Wow. So anyway, yeah. No, let's make a plan. Let's go to Formula
If
One.
you guys want to see it, hit us
Cool.
up at Punchdrunknerd.
We got
donate to our cause.
That's right. Come check out our new reel that we've made on Punch Drunk Nerd. We have our very own Ed Ball showing us around at his house all the nerd things you can find.
A star in
First
the
delicious
making.
reel.
And should have.
Exactly.
A star is born.
Now listen, excuse as I ask some background information. Miguel, is your phone still recording? Or are we still good here?
I don't know.
I think it is.
Can you hear me?
I see I can hear you. It's frozen. I think it's all recording.
There's a red
yes,
dot.
we're good.
Okay.
We're wonderful. Folks, if you were worried and concerned, don't be, because everything is going smoothly.
It's our third episode.
Yeah, third episode. Now, what did I watch this weekend, or what was I into? Well, I got really sick because I partied hard, so I wasn't feeling too well the next morning, and I needed a little comfort. So I ended up turning on some of my favorite Marvel movies, which was The Winter Soldier. I rewatched that one. And then I just decided to roll into Infinity War and Endgame. So it was a really long day of watching Marvel stuff. But, I just like the Russo brothers can do no harm in my place. I think they dominate my top 5 Marvel movies for me personally. I think that I love
sure.
I love Civil War.
Yep.
I love Winter Soldier. I love Infinity War, and I love Endgame. I think they all are great Marvel movies in my book. And then and then some other, Thor Ragnarok is also very much up there. But anytime, oh no, my monitor broke. It's okay. We're here.
I can still see you.
I guess, yeah. My secondary monitor broke. That's okay. So I did a little bit of that, and that's not to take too much time into something else. I'm also playing Fortnite, okay, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, I play Fortnite here and there, and it's actually can take up a lot of time. Now, there was a Marvel season that came out, I think, a year ago, where you could play as like Iron Man and She-Hulk and Groot and all these characters. And a lot of the characters you can like buy and just get as skins and play as them. But some of them you have to earn through the battle pass. So you'll have to like get a certain amount of XP before you get. I feel like if you play Fortnite, this is all like duh, we know. But this is for people who don't know anything about Fortnite. So.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you. So you have, the more you play, the more XP you get. You'll be able to unlock certain skins, certain emotes, all these things. And in the Marvel season, the last level was Iron Man. So if you got to get all the delicious XPs, you got Iron Man. So I spent all my time in my free time playing it, trying to unlock it. And after that season, I was like, my God, I need to stop playing because this is all I'm doing. And I'm like, I can't play any other video games. I'm not watching any new movies or TV. So let's slow down a little bit. The problem is that the last 3 seasons of Fortnite, which is like every 3 or so months, they introduced like new characters, right? And last season was Spider-Man, and so you had to get these XP points to get Spider-Man, this specific one. And I was like, great, I'm happy that season's done. I can move on. I can play other video games. Unfortunately, for the 3rd time in a row, they added another Marvel character at the end that you can only get by playing Fortnite, which is Doctor Strange. Now, I like Doctor Strange, but the problem is I'm a completionist. Okay, so I want to have all the Marvel characters I can get in my like library
roster.
or whatever it is, my roster. Yeah, I have so many Marvel characters, and so I would feel just like horrible if I miss out on getting Doctor Strange. So here I am, back again, new season, playing in my free time to just unlock the Doctor Strange skin.
So are you saying that
yeah.
outside of those seasons, after you collect these characters, you can then play as them in future seasons?
Exactly. So
Okay.
yeah. So like Iron Man, I earned his skin during the Marvel season, which there was like a tie-in to an actual comic and all of these things. And once that season passed, you can no longer get the Thor skin. You can no longer get the Iron Man skin. You had to earn that during that season. And so here I am again, working my way through and grinding to get Doctor Strange. So that is what I'm into. And
we'll keep you in our
I think
prayers,
that's it.
Luis. We just
Yes.
We hope.
Please keep me in your prayers. I hope I can unlock all this XP. I hope I can get Dr. Stephen Strange on my thing, and if, that's all I can hope for.
Is it supposed to look like Benedict Cumberbatch?
It's not. So they have skins that look exactly like the character. Like they did release a Tom Holland Spider-Man costume, like skin, and it looks like
cool.
Tom Holland. And they had a Zendaya like MJ, and they had a Zendaya Dune character too. So if you love Dune so much and you wanted to play as Zendaya in Dune, you could purchase that skin.
Yeah.
But no, this one is just kind of a generic Doctor Strange. But it's I think it's like a hybrid between Benedict and like what you think of Doctor Strange.
A comic. Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Luis, what's your gamer tag?
I think it's just.
you don't have to give it away.
It's nothing crazy. I think on my Switch, it's just Louis 12 12 12 12 because somebody took Louis 12, and Louis 12 is my like handle for everything. So here I just had to add 312.
Son of a bitch.
And then on my Xbox, I'm Bantichu.
We'll have that in the link in the description below.
Don't
follow
befriend me.
Luis.
Don't do anything. Don't reach out.
Yeah, go find him.
I was going to say,
why don't you subscribe to this channel? Huh? Why don't you do that instead?
That first, okay? Ring the bell to get notified.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Louis 1212, wherever you are, or Louis 12.
That's
sorry.
right, Louis 12, where you are.
You son of a bitch.
Once we get big and famous, I'm coming after you, brah.
Because we will.
Okay.
Give me back my identity.
All right. You know what? I think it's time to move on to the main event discussion and talk about the Oscars. Ed Ball, take it away.
All right, here we are, 2022. The New Year's Eve, as far as I'm concerned, is coming up. My year, my calendar is coming to an end and about to start new.
I love that.
So yeah, this Sunday, everybody, if you didn't know, is going to be the 94th Academy Awards, and we're just going to kind of talk about the nominees. We'll go through some of the major categories and discuss, maybe give our predictions if there are any snubs that we thought about or whatever. Talk about some of the favorites coming out of awards season and who's been winning. Last week we talked about the BAFTAs, the Annies, and the Critics' Choice Awards. And we just got out this past weekend, we had the Producers Guild Awards too. So, the board is set and the pieces are moving. Guys, you want me to run through?
Oh yeah, run through it, baby.
Some of the main categories, and then we'll go back and discuss, or do you want to do one category at a time?
Ed, you're the boss. Take it away, bud.
Okay. All right. Well, tell you what. I'll start with what the Oscars gives me. The Oscars.org. Actor in a leading role. Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos. Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog. Andrew Garfield, Tick, Tick, Boom. Will Smith, King Richard. And Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth. We touched on this last week. Miguel and I did anyway. I think we're pro Smith winning this one.
I haven't seen
any thoughts.
I haven't seen that movie, but I hear you guys constantly talk about Will Smith being amazing in that movie, and so it's just like
constantly
I
shut up.
I have to watch it. I feel like I have to watch it, like just because you guys are hyping it up so much.
It really is so good. Just again, I'm gonna. Just broken record over here. He totally deserves it. I know Will Smith has had some ups and downs and critical successes and falters, and I really think this is not a legacy award. He does it beautifully, this role. Yet at the same time, he totally deserves it and has deserved it. You know what I mean? I am very pro Will Smith this year.
Is there, a lot of people were talking about Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, for a while he was the front runner, but fortunately Will Smith has kind of taken it from. But I will say, I'm on, whenever I'm online, I'm watching the awards circuit and stuff like that, and a lot of people seem to be behind Andrew Garfield.
I was just about to say, because I'm looking at the list now.
He's kind of like a fan favorite sure.
That's actually who I would throw my hat in.
Have you seen
Garfield.
it?
Yeah. Oh, Tick Tick Boom?
Yeah, it was actually really good.
It's really good, and it's made me fall in love with Andrew Garfield a lot more as like.
That makes me think he might be that surprise upset or whatever, you know?
Maybe. I think it would be a stretch at this stage of the game. I think it would come down to Benedict Cumberbatch and Will Smith.
I don't think that Benedict...
I do think Will Smith has the edge. I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch will. I'm just saying, like, those two have been the top of the conversation.
But Andrew Garfield had so much dynamic range in his performance. You know what I mean? Where Benedict Cumberbatch, sure, he played that one role like very like well, but it wasn't the range that Andrew Garfield had to play for Tick Tick Boom.
No, not at all. And I mean, it kind of brings me to one thing that I always say about the Oscars is that it has a habit of just awarding people playing real people, in which, you know, maybe that's just like a nitpicky thing, but majority of the nominees this year are all playing somebody who existed, kind of thing. Like in this category specifically, you've got Javier Bardem and being the Ricardos, Andrew Garfield and Will Smith. That's three of the best acting nominees who are playing real people. I mean, even more so. But to your point, Luis, I would say, I mean, Andrew Garfield really was good. I've got to give a shout out to Denzel Washington because I really love that the tragedy of Macbeth. However, I would say that I wish Frances McDormand would have been nominated too.
Well, let's roll into the lead actresses if we're going to talk about.
Well, why not? Okay, actress in a leading role: Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman, The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart in Spencer. Now, this one's an interesting one because this is what the category that has been all over the place this season. Some actresses that have come in and out were Lady Gaga and for House of Gucci, and Jennifer Hudson, who played Aretha Franklin in
Respect.
In Respect, I'm sorry, thank you. And of these, each one of these actresses have won in separate award shows.
They all have an Oscar already?
No. In this Oscar season,
okay.
It's been a different winner every time.
Okay.
So it's been a very interesting race, and so there's no like clear front runner right now. I think the favorite is Kristen Stewart, but Jessica Chastain just came off of the SAG Award win, so it's really anyone's game right now. Your thoughts?
I don't have a dog in this fight because I haven't seen any of these movies, but in typical white male fashion, I've got an opinion. So I just want to say all of these actresses are actually phenomenal. I think Kristen Stewart would be kind of my favorite to win simply because, kind of like Robert Pattinson, you know, actors that got all this hate early on in their career and then kind of started churning out something a little bit more mature.
The resurgence of the Twilight.
You know, it's like, okay, that would be kind of cool for her to kind of have something to point to and say, no, you know, I deserve good roles. I haven't seen the movie, though, so I can't really speak. Ed, I mean, was she Princess Diana, Ed? You know, you tell me.
She wasn't, and I actually got into it with some people on Reddit.
No,
about this.
I love it.
People really love this role or this performance, but like it's just I thought it was not good.
Okay, that's fair. And Ed, I would take your word over anyone else's.
Yeah, I would too.
And people, it is a different perspective on that character, that person, that real life person, sorry. But for one thing, we've seen a lot of it lately, and we've seen it done better. And even if this was a more fantastical approach to said person, it's still not a very good one. She spends most of the movie whispering and gasping and crying, and for no reason whatsoever. It's just like the whole movie, and it gets a little exhausting. I don't know.
Do you think it's a director thing that she was directed to be that way, and that it wasn't
for sure. And I mean, it could have also just been her take on Diana. I don't know. I mean, overall, I just wasn't that impressed with it, and I am a little biased. Like, I had trouble. Like, I struggled to kind of see her in that role, so it felt more like shock casting than anything. As I said, it's just been done better recently, like very recently. I don't know. It's just,
but that's interesting that you're saying. Yeah,
I was really excited to see it because the director who I'm blanking on right now, he did that movie Jackie with Natalie Portman, and that was phenomenal. She was like, Natalie Portman should have gotten the Oscar that year, did not. But yeah, as far as my favorites to win, Jessica Chastain is my favorite for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. The only one I haven't seen on this list is Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers, and that's mostly because it didn't have much of a theatrical run.
Right.
And I just haven't gotten around to renting it yet. And I'll just quickly say, I don't think Nicole Kidman or Javier Bardem, as much as I love them, I don't think either of them should have been nominated. And J.K. Simmons, he shouldn't have been nominated for this movie because it really wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Just a hot take, but that's just my opinion. Luis, what about you? Who would you peg for Best Actress?
You know, it's funny because a lot of these movies here that are nominated aren't nominated for Best Picture and are nominated other stuff.
Right.
So they're kind of like outliers. And because I've been focusing on nomination of Oscar movies, I haven't seen a lot of these. I've seen, unfortunately, one of these being the Ricardos. I have a lot of homework to do before the Oscars come out, folks, and I will see them.
Yeah.
But the two that kind of catch my eye because I've already seen Nicole Kidman and hearing you talk about Kristen Stewart is definitely like Jessica Chastain and Olivia Colman. But I've always liked Jessica Chastain in movies, and she's like really,
she can do no wrong.
She's brought tears to my eyes, like just by her like emoting, and so I imagine if she's killing at this, I totally would understand it. She's a great actress, and you know,
she really does kind of like get into this role. Like she really goes all out on that. Also, a movie that has Andrew Garfield. He had like a great year last year.
When I found out that he was in like contention for awards this season, that was the first thing I asked Ed, was like, oh, for Eyes of Tammy Faye? And he was like, no, for this fucking Rent musical.
Tick, tick, boom.
I was like, okay, all right. Unexpected.
All right. Moving swiftly on, let's do the supporting roles. Actor in a supporting role. You got Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Kotzer for Coda, Jesse Plemons, The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith McPhee for The Power of the Dog also.
Yeah.
Troy Kotzer has been kind of walking away with most of the wins. Cody Smith McPhee at the beginning of the season was pegged to be the favorite, and I think of this list, he's the one who might pull an upset. But for right now, I would say Troy Kotzer has it locked.
I think that's my vote too. Is Troy Kotzer? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job, and I mean, without him, I don't think Coda would have been the movie that it was. It's such a it's such a family like relationship movie based like on a daughter and a father, that he was a huge part of that movie. I think he's my favorite, you know. Because I think The Power of the Dog, it doesn't have that much dynamic range. I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing, sure, it's like ominous and there's a lot of depth in that ominous stuff, but it's like, great, you did that. I want to see a little bit more, you know, and I think Troy did that. I saw
Coda.
I saw Belfast, and that was a great role too. But I don't think he was the dad, right?
He was the grandpa.
Oh, the grandpa.
Yeah. Who had a stronger role than the father, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
no, he did great too. But I feel like if I had a vote, it would be gun to my head, Troy, too, as well.
Yeah, Troy for sure. Yeah. Miguel?
I totally agree. No, I don't have anything to add. I really haven't seen any of these things. I know I only want to talk about Jesse Plemons simply because him and Kirsten Dunst they're both married, and they both copped an Oscar nom this year.
I didn't know that they were married. Wow.
Yeah, they have
did.
children together, so it's like that's kind of cool. I think that's one of only a very small handful of times that's happened. And I mean, obviously, Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz, they're married.
Penelope Cruz.
So and the fact that both couples being nominated together in the same year is kind of interesting. But yeah, no, like I said,
It's cool.
I don't have a dog in this fight.
All right, then. Moving on to actress in a supporting role. Jessie Buckley in The Lost Daughter, Ariana DeBose with West Side Story, Judi Dench in Belfast, Kirsten Dunst in The Power of the Dog, and
Ingenue?
Ingenue Ellis. Ingenue Ellis for King Richard. She played the mother of the Serena.
I mean,
and
because
Venus.
this is like one of the only movies I saw, I guess I'm gonna fucking speak up right now. But she actually did a pretty phenomenal job as that character. That was not Will Smith's wife in that movie. You know what I mean? That role. She was a very well-rounded character. She affected the plot. She affected those characters around her that she interacted with just as strongly in her own way as Will Smith's character. So I don't think she's going to win it, but I remember walking away from that movie going, like, I really appreciated that she wasn't just the wife or just the mom. She really had some weight to her. So
she was kind of like the balancing force between
and the
Will
world.
Smith's character and basically. So no, she had like some really good moments throughout that film where she was just like, nah, take it down a notch.
She was the only one that could, you know. And,
absolutely.
I'm a fan of hers. I haven't seen anyone else. Obviously, Judi Dench. You know what I mean? Who can say she's a bad actress? Go ahead, Judi Dench.
I will say she should not have been nominated.
Tell
for
us,
this.
Ed.
And I feel like most people agree with that. This was really just like name recognition, big movie, yada yada. The actress who should have been nominated in Belfast is Katarina Balfe, who plays the mum.
She was great
in Belfast. She was so good, and she was nominated at the SAGs and the BAFTAs. So it was a real shame that didn't carry on to the Oscars. And again, Judi Dench is fine in it, but she doesn't play as that big of a part as far as like the two grandparents are concerned. Like Kieran Hines has a stronger role there, and then the mum is like the driving force behind all of it. So yeah, that was definitely just like a fuck up in the nominations, I feel like. Luis, you just watched Belfast. I mean,
I did.
Where are you at with the supporting actress?
No, absolutely. I mean, I was taken aback by her performance, in Belfast. And I think afterwards I was talking with Sarah, like, who is that? Like, is she new or not? And like, no, she's like been in the business. She's like the lead in Outlander. And, I want to see her in more stuff. It really...
Sure.
I really liked
Miguel,
her.
for a bit of context, she plays Christian Bale's wife in Ford v Ferrari.
Yes. I've seen that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I don't know if you
what I'm
remember her
saying
in
to my
that.
point earlier? Was she Christian Bale's wife in that movie? You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Think about that. Ingenue Ellis, you guys. Ingenue.
Again, so I got to watch King Richard. But,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, the front runner on this category is for sure Ariana DeBose, and
Yeah, that's what I've
I'm
been hearing.
pretty sure it's a lock at this point. And deservedly so. She's like really good in West Side Story. Having just watched it again, she carries a lot of the emotional heft.
I believe that. I mean,
in
yeah,
that movie.
she's doing three things, right? She's singing, she's dancing, and she's emoting
And acting.
and acting.
Yeah.
Like,
It's actually four things. She's pretending that Ansel Elgort isn't a murderer of 72 people.
okay, you're right. That is the magic.
That's what he did, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I heard he
You heard
murdered
it here
Is it
first.
72 or 74?
It's actually two more than it was earlier.
He's on the hunt. If you know where he is, please let us know at Punch Drunk Nerd.
All right, moving on to the next category, trying to just keep things moving, I guess. Animated feature film. Nominees: Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. Thoughts, prayers, all of the above.
Luis?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked. In our last episode, we talked about the Annies and we talked about Red Panda turning red. So we talked about all the nominees earlier, but yeah, I think the Mitchells versus the Machines is kind of my vote for the winner of that. I don't know. I had fun with it, but it also delivered a strong message, and that's what I like. That's what I want in an animated film. I want to be thoroughly entertained. I want something new I haven't seen, and I want it to be pretty emotional, but like family oriented.
Yeah.
Like I said previously, I don't think I finished Mitchell's versus the Machines. It was good. I just got
So
sidetracked.
you won't nominate it. Yeah. It's not your nomination.
I will say this: of all of these movies, the one I don't want to win is Encanto, and that's mainly because no, shut up, Ed. That's mainly because I've heard that goddamn soundtrack on repeat basically every week since it came out, and I'm not talking just because I was on the internet. My kids watching it. My wife is singing it in the middle of the night. We wake up and it's stuck in our heads. And I'm just like, I am so over this movie. Is it good? Absolutely. Does Lin-Manuel know what he's doing? Yes. You know what I mean? The cast was great. I'm just like way over it. The only one I haven't seen is Flea. And I hope that's the one that wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know nothing about it, but...
Yeah, Encanto, I think the music carries it. I think the acting carries it, but I actually wasn't too fond of the story itself. I felt like it was pretty. I felt like I knew what was coming, and then at the end, it was just like, oh, everybody gets their powers back, and I thought it would have been cool if no one got their powers back, and they were just like a family, and that was the most important thing, like to get through it all. But no, it's like no, everything's fine. Everyone's got their powers back, and I was like, okay, well then I guess sure.
I tell you which one I liked more than I thought I would was Raya and the Last Dragon. When we finally saw that on Disney Plus, I remember kind of like, okay, I'll get around to it. But once we actually sat down and watched it, my kid loved it. I had a great time watching it. We watched it a good handful of times. And even though I watched it a good handful of times, it wasn't stuck in my head. So...
no songs.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it.
I enjoyed Luca too, but yeah, I'm leaning towards Mitchells versus the Machines. Fun fact about Flea, since you mentioned it, Miguel. I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's a pretty big deal. This movie not only was nominated for animated feature, it was also nominated for Best Documentary and Best International Feature Film.
Yeah, what's the documentary thing?
What a trifecta.
What does that mean? That tripped me up.
So what I understand is it's telling the story in a documentary style, but it's just animated.
Okay, but are these interviews?
So it's essentially it is a documentary, but it's animated to tell and I haven't seen this, so
right.
I don't know a whole lot about it.
My question
is it's from Denmark.
Oh, Denmark. Okay. I mean,
which makes it foreign.
I wonder if they took real VO from a documentary and real interviews from a documentary, then sure that works. And I'm sorry I don't know. Again, folks, but
no, same.
If it's just done in the style of a documentary, then that's just not going to fly for me. I don't think that counts. I feel like documentary needs to actually be capturing a reality. And
no, I believe it is capturing it's about a real subject. It's just told in animated style,
Okay.
as I understand it. But you know what? Let's just watch a trailer after we hang up, and we'll know for sure. All right, moving swiftly on to. Shall I touch on best score real quick
Yeah.
before I do best director, best picture, or do we want
Let's
to
do a
just cut?
little
a final trio.
Okay. So best original score.
Well, I want to
Don't
talk about
Look
editing
Up.
real quick because I'm an editor. So.
Oh yeah.
But let's do
by all
score.
means.
Let's do score.
Okay, score. Don't Look Up. Nicholas Britell. Dune. Hans Zimmer. Encanto. Jermaine Franco. Parallel Mothers. Alberto Iglesias. And The Power of the Dog. Johnny Greenwood.
I don't think this is the one that Dune's going to win. I don't know, though.
Really?
I don't know.
Are you serious? I think this is
It
the
is
one that
Hans
Dune's
Zimmer.
definitely going to win.
I just looked at it. I just assume Dune is nominated for a bunch of effects awards as well, and I just assumed that's where it was going to scoop up all of their awards.
Fair enough.
I had
I
no
will
idea
say-
Johnny Greenwood. Is this the Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead?
Yeah.
The Power of the Dog?
Yeah, he also did like Phantom Thread. He's done all of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies of late.
Good for you.
And then some. I mean, this score was pretty good. I wouldn't say it's his best.
I haven't seen Don't Look
But,
Up, and I really want to, but I feel like that's going to have a quirky little like musical background.
The score for Don't Look Up is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like that could be a competitor.
Because it's kind of like it's like a jazz orchestra. That would be my pick. Second to Dune.
Dune, yeah.
I think Dune deserves it, but
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, great.
Space bagpipes, people. Space bagpipes.
Let's start.
all right.
Editing.
I'm going to hop back to editing real quick. The nominees: Don't Look Up, Hank Corwin, Dune, Joe Walker, King Richard, Pamela Martin, The Power of the Dog, Peter Skiberas, and Tick Tick Boom, Myron Kirstein and Andrew Weisblum. Apologies for pronunciation, by the way, guys, if you're listening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering because Adam McKay, he's directed Don't Look Up, and I know one of his movies was it The Big Short. I think they won for Best Editor, and I wonder if it's the same editor and if it's the same style that he has because it's pretty
Choppy.
good. Yeah,
Oh,
but it's like
yes.
it's got direction
Good.
to it. I mean, my vote again is Tick Tick Boom on this one. I think they're able to. I think they're able to communicate things while like showing visuals and delivering audio, marrying them at the right times. I think that was kind of my vote, but I haven't. That's it.
I think if Tick Tick Boom was going to walk away with an award, it might be this one.
Yeah. Great. Since we're short on time, let's move on. Yeah, I mean, God, there's so many. And we'll keep talking more about this when the actual Oscars come out. So,
Of course. Okay. So coming down to director. Where are you, son of a bitch?
Oh, I missed it.
Oh my
It's
god.
It's up towards the middle.
There it is. Okay. Directing: Belfast, Kenneth Branagh. Drive My Car, Ryusuke Hamaguchi. I apologize again for the pronunciation. Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson. The Power of the Dog, Jane Campion. West Side Story, Steven Spielberg. Currently, I think it's safe to say that Jane Campion has it locked for The Power of the Dog. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't know. But what would be your picks?
I didn't see Belfast. I'm going solely off of vibes. But Kenneth Branagh, like, I like him. I like what he does. I like when he acts. I like when he directs. He directed
Thor.
That's the one. Thor,
He
the
did.
first Thor movie. And you know what? People talk shit about that movie, but I thought it was great. I thought it was like a really cool interpretation of that character, especially for that first phase of MCU. And I also just think he's like a really fun actor. I really liked him in the Orient Express, the Murder on the Orient Express. I
Hmm.
thought he was pretty decent in Tenet. I liked his character enough, although that didn't help me pay attention to that movie at all. Um, so that's my pick.
Fair enough. I guess my problem with this list is that nobody really stands out to me. Like Paul Thomas Anderson, like of course I'm glad to see him nominated, but I don't. I like Licorice Pizza a lot. I wouldn't say it's his best work, and that's always the frustrating thing. Is like these directors don't get recognized when they're actually
Right.
making their masterpieces. Tale as old as time, right? As far as just like the most exciting directing on here, I would go for Steven Spielberg because what he did with West Side Story was pretty incredible. And rewatching it again this past weekend, it's just like so visceral and just so beautifully done. And like you could tell there was so much love and affection going into every frame of that movie.
Yeah.
I will say I do wish that Denis Villeneuve had been nominated for Dune because that would have been my
Yeah.
top pick for sure.
It seems like West Side Story is kind of Spielberg at his kind of best. The way that he frames things
Yeah.
and makes things energetic. Like you said, viscera. Like I think that
Yeah.
it does a good job of capturing that feeling.
Like for a long like one of his best movies in quite some time for sure. Not to say that his recent work is bad. It's just like this was definitely like a big, loud, momentous occasion for him.
Right. It's for his because it's his first musical, but for his first musical, he seemed
Yeah.
very comfortable in it, and I think he just approached it how he used to make movies in the past. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, probably been thinking about it ever, since he saw it as a kid, I guess.
Yeah.
But, all right, moving on to the big tuna, the best picture category. All right, I'll go through the list as quickly as possible, and then we can dive into it.
We can just say
Bel-
the movie names, right? We don't have to go through all these people's names.
Oh, I'm not going to list the
producers.
producers.
Thank
Are you
God,
kidding
thank
me?
God. I was like,
All right, Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story. Almost sounds like a good, Cards Against Humanity round or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so thoughts, questions, queries.
I have three that stand out immediately that I think, just because of what we've been talking about, stand the best chance. It would be West Side Story, Power of the Dog, and Coda, maybe. And I would lean towards Power of the Dog just because that's the one I hear about the most.
Yeah. And it's the one that's been winning consecutively at this point.
Okay.
Luis?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but I'm a real softy this year, and the one that I want to take it is Coda. Right now, I think that's
It's Coda, sorry?
Yeah, it's Coda. I think as much as we get like all these dark things in dark times, we already live in a dark time, and I think for the age that we're in, I think a little bit of like hope and light story would be helpful. And I think Coda does a story that's, it doesn't have a lot of frills to it, but it's very effective. And I think it delivers on the emotion, and it has great performances. And I think it keeps it simple, but it's effective, and it's a heartwarming story that, I don't know, that does the job really well and doesn't just lean on just the technical aspects of it. But I understand if The Power of the Dog wins, totally. West Side Story, I understand. I guess Belfast would be my second, but I don't want Nightmare Alley to win, and I don't want,
That was going to be my next question is, of these 10, how many have you seen? And can you list them real quick?
Yeah, so I've seen Belfast, Coda, Dune, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, and I've seen bits of West Side Story. But so I still have more to watch before I can when I actually see the Oscars, I'll be able to actually give a full opinion because I'll see these. But those are the movies that I've seen.
All right. I mean, most of them are out on streaming now for anybody who's curious. So yeah, coming out of this last weekend, I mean, Power of the Dog has been winning it across the board. However, Coda did win at the Producers Guild Awards, which has always been like a strong indicator of who goes on to win Best Picture. So Coda could be the upset of the night, or, you know, I don't know, I'd rather Coda win myself.
Yeah.
That movie had me crying throughout. I was just bawling like a baby throughout that movie. It's so good. It's so heartfelt. And it takes you by the surprise, honestly.
Yeah, because you watched it and you were like, oh my God, I'm crying. And then I watched it, I was like, okay, here we go. I guess I'm going to cry. But, like, I mean, no, you're right. It does take you by surprise. It's just like, okay, when are the tears coming? When are the crying happening?
Did you cry?
Yeah, I cried.
Okay.
We're a bunch of criers on this podcast.
Is it a father-daughter storyline? I don't know.
Kind of like more centrally at its core, it's more of, you know, it's her dealing with her whole family. Her father and her brother are kind of the more key factors, and maybe her teacher. Her brother being the deaf child in the family. The daughter is the only hearing child or hearing person in the family. So the son, who's the eldest, he wants to take on the family business. He feels like he's constantly, like, everybody relies on the daughter, so they're constantly at odds with each other. And then with the father, you know, it's really them coming to terms with their daughter's choice of becoming a singer. You know, obviously creates problems for them, but he's the one who has a core connection with her in that regard. So yeah, I guess you could say it's like their relationship at the center of it all.
I only bring it up because I understand the concept because I'm a parent too. But it was something about as soon as Ed's daughter came into the world, he watched Children of Men, and he was like, I was crying at the very end of that movie. And I don't remember ever crying at the end of that movie, but it made sense to me. And then I guess speaking as a parent now I watch things like father-son storylines, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I get it.
It gets you. No, I'd be totally happy if Coda won. I think that, like you were saying, Luis, that would be such a feel-good win. And
we could use it.
Here's my thing. In 5 years, like, I don't think, say if Power of the Dog did win, I just don't think it's going to be remembered.
Right.
You know?
I mean, if that's the case, you know, give her the best director, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is already going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lock. I would much rather see, I think there are 6 movies that I have on my list before Power of the Dog that I'd rather see win. I agree, I don't want Nightmare Alley to win, I don't want Don't Look Up to win, I don't want Drive My Car to win, I don't want Power of Dog to win. Yeah. I'd be okay with everything else winning.
I'm surprised you don't like Don't Look Up. I'm gonna watch. That's the one I'm kind of excited.
No,
to
I
watch.
do. So I do like Don't Look Up, but I don't think it's Best Picture worthy.
Totally, yeah.
At all. I did enjoy it. I liked it more than Nightmare Alley and Drive My Car.
Don't Look Up,
and maybe
fun
even
movie,
Power
though,
of the
right?
Dog. It's absolutely. It's you know, it's very real, tragically real.
That's why I think that's why I think it's Oscar. It's
hilarious.
I haven't seen it.
Oh no, it's. I mean, it's not surprising that it was nominated, but overall, I don't think it's like a strong movie. It did very much feel like of a time, of an era, you know, and definitely a pandemic movie. It just and I think because of its star power, it got as much recognition. And also, I mean, it was obviously a conversation starter. And going into the award season, I thought this was going to be the front runner throughout. But it's kind of lost its momentum a little bit in the last few months. So I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I don't think that movie is going to walk away with any wins, to be honest. But it's a good movie, and I watched it again, and it's still a solid watch. I just don't think it's the best by any means.
Speaking of losing momentum, thank you guys for joining us.
Listen, we started off with a lot of technical difficulties. We had to power through. This one ran a little bit longer, but it's okay. We're working on third episode. Here we go. Next week we're going to talk about the actual Oscar winners. We're going to talk about our feelings about the Oscars themselves. Who knows? Maybe we'll just dedicate the episode just to the Oscars, so we can time it up. Yeah. But if you survived and enjoyed the show, please follow us at Punch Drunk Nerd. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're getting active there. Hopefully we'll start making some TikToks. But until then, I don't know. Keep being a nerd and keep being good. How's that as a tag out?
Yeah. Don't be mean.
I like it. Add that to our bio. That's good.